but you become part of a team that leads Formula One racing through your affiliation with ESPN's programming department that brings F1 back to ESPN. It was the first time when you did it in 2018. It was the first time since 1997. How difficult was that to engineer?
Well, it was, I guess the biggest challenge I had, like, well, first of all, there was a sort of built-in advantage, which was, when Liberty took over ownership and installed, two people that I knew. One I knew very, very well, Sean Bratches,
who's been on this program.
Yeah, former colleague at ESPN, and one I knew pretty well from industry, from our industry was Chase Carey, who obviously got the job to run it. That made, the contact and the conversation with F1 as easy as it could possibly have been. The interesting thing for me as part of it was the internal conversations, right? I mean, and again, this goes all the way back. When I started at ESPN, one of the first big breaks I got was to manage the motorsports category. This would have been in that late 90s period of time. And at that point we had launched ESPN2, not too long before that. Motorsports was a absolute core component to what we did, right? We had NASCAR rights. We were probably the biggest NASCAR rights holder at the time. We had F1, we had NHRA drag racing, we had IndyCar and kart, we had, supercross and motocross and, hydroplane racing. We had everything. And over time that just, it started to sort of just fall away. And F1, we didn't have for a really long period of time. But I knew, as they say, I knew just enough to be dangerous. Right. And when Sean and Chase, we started talking to them, I just wanted to make sure, and all credit to my boss, Jimmy Pitaro, he doesn't, obviously he's running ESPN. He's a huge sports fan. He doesn't need me to make a PowerPoint presentation on why F1 is important. Right. But we hadn't had it for so long. So it was just about it. It was as much about getting people to sort of consider that we would get back into motorsports in a meaningful way with a globally important property. Was just, it kind of was off the radar, right? Like, cause we were just kind of out of it. But pretty quickly, and with Jimmy's support, we got into a deep and meaningful conversation about what was possible with Sean and Chase, and it snowballed from there. And personally, I couldn't have been more excited because I went from like, this is a long shot when he, when he first called to like, oh my God, I think we're going to do this. And it was, so it was cool. It was really cool. And I recognized, and this is where Sean and Chase were brilliant in this regard, because they made the US market a priority in terms of, they recognized the upside of making F1 more significant in this market. And that's what the deal was all about. And they knew, and Sean knew, because we've known each other for years and years, that the best way to do that in the US was through ESPN. And so, and he knew that we could be motivated to really put our shoulder behind doing that. And that sort of was the essence of the initial conversations.